Hi guys, and welcome back to another Premier League prediction video. Last time out we got two scores correct, and I'm happy to say there were the two that were on my thumbnail. There were the two big games: Arsenal beating Man United 3-1 and Everton losing 2-0 against Liverpool. Now I was very happy to get those two correct out of all the possible games I could have. For this video I want to set a light goal. Premier League content doesn't pick up as much, so somewhere around, if we can try and push for 10 likes on this video, that would be great. And make sure to subscribe as well. Channel's picking up really well, and I know there's not much left now for predictions because the season's nearly over, but there is plenty of content coming to the channel in the summer that I think you're all going to be, all going to enjoy watching. So make sure to hit the notification bell too so that you don't miss anything. Let's get into the predictions. And starting off with a potential banana skin in the title race, Newcastle take on Liverpool. And Newcastle, they're in very good form, won 4 in a row, won 7 out of 10, and they've actually won 6 home matches in a row, which is great for them. They've really developed. I know they're now, the richest club in the world, but if you actually look at what they bought in, January, and Trippier got injured, they haven't actually invested that much into that squad, yet the form has turned around drastically. So fair play to Eddie Howe. I think he's done a brilliant job there to turn it around, and it looks like they're going to get a top half finish, which is a great season for them, and they're obviously going to push on through the coming years. But yeah, Eddie Howe has done a very good job there. Liverpool, now they've won their last 2 games in the league. They beat Man United 4-0. They beat Everton 2-0. And a lot of people were looking at those fixtures thinking, oh, they're potential, to slip up because of the history of them, because they're rivalries. I think this is a much harder game than those two, considering the form that Newcastle are in and Newcastle's home form as well. So Liverpool have obviously done very well. They're still 1 point behind Man City with 5 games to go for Liverpool and City. But Liverpool have got the tougher run, and it's games like this where I see Liverpool potentially slipping up. Now, in the week, they beat Villarreal, beat them 2-0 in the Champions League semi-final, first leg at Anfield. And I went for a draw in that game. Now, I understand Liverpool that they were very likely to win that game, but I just had a feeling that Villarreal had some players that, if they played correctly, could get in behind that Liverpool high line. They didn't really do anything. It looked like Villarreal were playing for a 0-0, to be honest, and that was their issue. That I don't think they went into the game right. A lot of people will say, if you go at Liverpool, you'll end up losing by more, but if you don't try to score, then they're always going to eventually break you down. And the thing that I'm looking at in this game, the key area, is left wing / right back. Newcastle's left wing, Alan Saint-Maximin, against Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think Saint-Maximin's going to have him on toast. I think Liverpool's high line is going to... Saint-Maximin will be able to get in behind. If you've got players like Bruno Guimaraes playing balls through, I think there's cause for concern there for Liverpool, because Saint-Maximin is skillful, he's quick, and he is a good finisher as well. So he's got all that. And I just think Newcastle are going to get something out of this game. Now, I don't think they're going to win it. I think that would be a massive, massive shock. And Liverpool obviously have a lot going forward themselves. They've scored the most goals. But I just fancy Newcastle to be able to get them on the break. As I said, Saint-Maximin is going to be key in this game. And I fancy him to get a goal involvement. So whether that's a goal or an assist, I fancy him to do that. And I'm going to go down the middle, 1-1. Next up, Villa take on Norwich. So can Dean Smith get a bit of revenge? That seems to be the narrative here. Now Villa, they drew their last game 0-0 against Leicester, after 4 losses in a row. So they're not in very good form at all. But they are playing Norwich. And Norwich, they've lost 2 in a row, lost their last one 3-0 to Newcastle. And it's only a matter of time before they're relegated, because I don't know what it is. Like, you've looked at Burnley, how they've, pushed themselves up and gone through after having a difficult season, and they're now out of the relegation zone. But Norwich just don't seem to have that spirit. I'm guessing it's more of a quality issue compared to other teams rather than their motivation, but they just don't really seem to cause a threat to many people. So I think Norwich, going back down, probably come back up next season. But yeah, for this, as much as I'd love to say Norwich are going to win it, I think the most they can hope for is a point, but I think that's even too far out of reach. So Villa to win 2-1. Southampton take on Palace next. And Southampton drew 2-2 with Brighton in their last one, and they've only won 1 out of their last 8 matches. Crystal Palace, they drew 0-0 with Leeds, and they've lost 2 away games in a row. But I don't think Southampton have enough to, really win this game, because Palace are a good side, maybe are better at home than away, but Southampton aren't in the greatest of form. I can only really see this being a draw. Also, shout out to James Ward-Prowse. So the goals he scored in that 2-2 against Brighton, fair play. He's such a good striker of the ball. It's great to watch. And I'm sure, sometime soon, he's got to get a move to, a team that's fighting for a bit more. Maybe a top half team, that are trying to break into the European places. But yeah, great performance from him. And yeah, as I said, I think this is going to be a draw. So I'm going to go 1-1. A massive match in the relegation zone next. Watford take on Burnley. And Watford, they are not doing themselves any favours. They've lost 4 in a row, lost 6 out of 7. And if they lose here, they'll be relegated, because Burnley are just outside the relegation zone now. So they're sort of setting the bar for everyone below them. And if Burnley do win this one, as I said, the bar's then too high for Watford. So Watford really cannot afford to lose this. In all fairness, they have to win it for a chance to survive. I don't even think a draw will be enough for them, but mathematically, a draw would keep them in it. And Burnley, since Sean Dyche left, 3 matches they've played, won 2, drawn 1, so unbeaten in them. And Burnley won their last game 1-0 against Wolves. I expect Watford to put up a fight here. They've got some good attacking players, but the issue, as everyone knows, with Watford this season is they can't defend. So for all the, good pieces of quality in attack, if they don't take their chance, the other team will just go down the other end and score. So for this, Watford are relegated for me. Burnley to win 2-1. Wolves take on Brighton now. And Wolves, they've lost 2 in a row, both by 1-0 scoreline, to Newcastle and Burnley. Now both those games were away for Wolves, so now they're at home. Let's see if they can pull out a different result. Brighton, they drew 2-2 with Southampton, and they're a good away side, to be honest. They're better on the road than they are at home, much better. So this will be tricky for Wolves again, and I think if they don't win here, then their chances of that European place, like a Conference League spot, are probably going to be over. But they have had a good season. They're going to finish in the top half. So well done to Wolves, because a lot of people thought, they lost Rui Patricio. They lost Nuno as well, so a lot of people didn't know what to expect. And I think quite a few people thought they were going to be, near the bottom, but they've managed to have a very good season, top half finish, and if anything, they've been more exciting this season than they were under Nuno, whilst keeping that good defensive record. So, yeah, Wolves are an interesting team. I think they'll be better next season as well, when, everyone's a bit more settled, maybe they don't have as many injuries. So yeah, I'm excited for next season for Wolves, but for this game, I'm going to go down the middle, 1-1. Another potential banana skin in the title race here, Leeds take on Man City. Now Leeds, they're unbeaten in 5, and their last result was a 0-0 draw with Palace. Man City, they beat Watford 5-1 to help their goal difference in the title race. And, they're 1 point above Liverpool still. And in the week, Man City played a very, very good game of football. It was very entertaining. They beat Real Madrid 4-3 in the first leg of the Champions League semi-final. And that was some performance. I mean, they probably could have scored about 7. In the first 20-25 minutes, they probably could have been about 4-0 up. But they didn't take those chances. Benzema with that Panenka penalty was just outrageous. To have that sort of confidence to do that 4-2 down in the Champions League semi-final, it is just ridiculous. And he's the player I want to win the Ballon d'Or, to be honest. I know it's a long time away, but Benzema has been class. But Man City won that game, so Man City really showed what they're about. And I think that, although I do see this, that every game's a potential banana skin. Leeds have been, unbeaten in 5. I just don't see a way that Man City don't win this game. So, for me, Man City win 3-1. Everton take on Chelsea next. And Everton, they lost 2-0 to rivals Liverpool. And it dropped them into the relegation zone. And it's looking quite worrying for Everton. My verdict at the moment, I think they're going down. And, at home, they're unbeaten in 3. So they've got that going for them. But away, they are not good enough. They're terrible on the road. They don't really pick up any points. And, yeah, that's the sort of thing that's going to get you relegated. Now, they're home here against a Chelsea side that drew 1-1 with Man United in their last match. And Chelsea, a lot of people are sort of looking at them thinking, you've got nothing to play for now. But they haven't secured that top 4 spot yet. They have got Arsenal and Tottenham breathing down their necks, but I think Chelsea are pretty much guaranteed a top 4 spot at the moment. And I think this result's going to go a little bit further to help them, because I'm going to go Chelsea to win 2-1. Spurs take on Leicester next. And Spurs, they had won 4 in a row, but then they lost 1-0 to Brighton, drew 0-0 with Brentford. So they've started, slipping up a little bit, and it's just whether they can get that form back that they've had since the turn of the year, really. They have been very good. But Leicester, on the other hand, drawn 2 in a row, not been good away this season at all. So I think this is going to go to Tottenham. I think they're going to carry on their top 4 pursuit, and it's really going to go down to that North London derby, isn't it? I think that's the penultimate game of the season for Arsenal and Tottenham, so that's going to decide a lot of things. But for this game, I'm going to go Spurs to win 2-0. Up next, West Ham take on Arsenal. And West Ham, they haven't won in 3, and they lost their last game 1-0 against Chelsea. Now Arsenal, they've won 2 in a row. They won 4-2 against Chelsea and 3-1 against Man United. So Arsenal have had a great few weeks. They're really in good form against some top teams, and I think Arsenal here are going to win quite comfortably, because West Ham, the fixtures are clogging up. They've just played a Europa League game on, Thursday just gone and lost it against Frankfurt. So they're going to be focusing a lot on, the second leg of that semi-final. So for this one, I think Arsenal win 3-1. And finally, Man United take on Brentford. And Man United drew their last game 1-1 with Chelsea in a game that they didn't really do much in. It was just a great finish from Ronaldo, really, after a great ball from Matic as well, that got them back into that one. and they haven't had a great time of it recently. You know, they lost the two before that against Arsenal and against Liverpool. So yeah, Man United, they're not going to get top four this season, which means Erik ten Hag will be taking over, more than likely, a Europa League squad for next season and rebuilding. Brentford, they have been in very good form since Christian Eriksen joined the club. And, you know, they're unbeaten in 4, winning 3 of those. And they drew their last game 0-0 with Spurs. So Brentford are looking, you know, they're looking like a really good team. They're looking like they're trying to get into the top half, which would be a brilliant season. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they actually do it. For this one, and I've got a theory, if Brentford want, you know, in their record books, a win against Man United at Old Trafford in the Premier League, now is the best time to do it. Now is your best opportunity. And I think they're going to go all out and get a win. So I'm going to go Brentford win 2-1. So, those are my Premier League predictions for this weekend's fixtures. Make sure to like the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more Premier League content, and get your predictions down in the comments too. Also tell me who's going to win the league this season, and you know, who's going to get that top 4 spot.